Nice plate.
I also have a delay.
It
Hey,
works.
good evening. What's up, everybody?
Ciao,
Good
Jochen.
evening. Hello.
Hello.
Hi
Good
to
evening.
everyone.
Welcome to the Twiddlers Musicians Pub on Wednesday. Let me introduce the guests for tonight. I'm going from top to bottom. Eric, the man, is here, joining us from Amsterdam. Hey, man, how are you?
I'm good.
Nice, just in time.
Yeah, I'm good. I had a million things before you on my mind, so I need to focus a little bit. Yeah, I'm good.
You can all let it all go now.
Yes, that's the plan.
You were friendly company.
Yes, friendly fire. Oh no.
Yeah, you were in the chat last week and talking when we were talking about some microphone ideas and recording spaces and stuff. So
Yeah.
And then you sent me an email to explain your idea because the answer wasn't questioned. Or the answer wasn't really sort of answering your question. So
No.
So I thought, let's come on the show and just talk about that and discuss that. Whatever.
It's cool. I'm totally down. It's it now or
No, well, yeah, we can do it now. But let me first introduce
exactly.
the other guests. So Gaetano is here again. Welcome back, man.
Thanks, pleasure. Like a really nice, big pleasure to be back.
Great to see you. Great to see you.
Yeah.
And joining us from Barcelona, right?
Yeah, actually, serious. Still living here, happy, be here. That's all good.
The Italian man in Spanish land.
Yeah, actually, Spanish Italian. I'm going to speak Spanish Italian here. Like it's, I feel comfortable to live here. I love this place, and so I keep. I still have like really great, feeling living here. So that's good.
Awesome. And Stef is joining us from Greece
Hello.
this time,
Hello.
Thessaloniki.
Yes, Thessaloniki. Yes, I'm not from my studio. I'm in the office.
Yeah, yes. I think when I got in touch with you, it was probably the fastest invitation acceptance ever. I think within 30 seconds it was yes, I'll be here.
Yes. I'm very fast. Fast is my name.
Awesome.
Techno is my game. Fast is my name.
Hey, maybe you should be a rapper.
Maybe.
Have you tried it?
No, at least I have the chain, the rapper chain.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Looking fly.
It's a start.
Okay, let me also say hi to everybody who is joining us here on Twitch. Hello, everybody. If you have any questions to any of us Knob Twiddlers, then feel free to drop them in the chat. And let's have a go. So, Stef sent me some pictures of his studio building project. Where's the new studio going to be?
In Kiev. I moved to Kiev like probably three weeks ago. Yeah, I mean, I had a gig in Kiev, and that was quite surprising. And then I saw Kiev, and the surprise was coming more and more and more. And I decided to move within a few hours, And,
Right.
I've called my friends in Berlin. I told them like, that's it. Kaput. Catastrophe. I'm moving to Kiev. That's it. And I've booked a flight and took 160 something kilograms of hardware and some stuff. That's it.
Man.
Moved to Kiev. Yes. And then I still have some records and some stuff to get from Berlin. but the most important things are with me in Kiev, and yeah, I'm happy. I'm really happy. I love Kiev. I love the food and everything in Kiev. Yeah, and I just really, honestly loved Kiev. That's it.
Awesome.
I feel freedom.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Yes, yes.
That's great. And so you're building your studio, new studio now there. So how's that coming along?
Yeah. It's not the easiest thing, but I'm trying to take it slowly and give it some more love right now. With some, I'm trying to make it slightly more dry than my Berlin studio, because in Berlin the studio had more air than needed, and right now it's like half a meter smaller, and I'm adding instead of 80 millimeters of rock wool, I'm adding 100 millimeters of rock wool. And yeah, I still, now the whole wood construction is done, and I'm going back to Kiev from my vacation in next week, and I'm gonna prepare all the panels. Yeah, still have to cut and prepare all the panels, and then I have to finish the construction of the tables, and probably 2 weeks, and I'm ready to go to produce music. So
Awesome.
yeah, it's.
Well, you only have to look in the left bottom corner to see a really good example of somebody who's got the soundproofing right. Maybe Gaetano can give you some advice.
No, I don't think so. For what I understand, he really into then he got experience on his background, Stef. I mean, like because to build everything from scratch, from zero, I'm really I would like to do that as well, but it's our job. Like you have to be like really good on to work on boots and every single thing. So you have to be. It's really uh, complicated process to do from scratch. So you have to know from engineer things from to the basics to the most um, practical things that you have to do, like with your hands. So
Did you do
impressed.
did you do your own studio like that, the way it's looking now, Gaetano?
Yeah, actually, this was just one room because I bought this space was an art gallery, and this build I'm in downstairs of building that it was built in 1893.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so this was a all exposition area. So I divided. I have a press studio where I have my DJ booth, a big screen like that I use for work. Is 3 meters, so I watch movie as well, and then I build this part that is a box in the box, of course. I keep the original wall that is made by stone, and up it's an arch. You see,
Oh yeah.
and this was like a bet because I did my own research on internet, of course, and it's quite complicated to find studio that they got an arch. So
Yeah.
you have to be symmetric, and so um, I take advantage about a software that those panels become acoustic as that you can send your planimetry with all the material that the studio is built, and then they send you, what panel you have to use and where, and that was a starting point. Then step by step, I start to understand my studio, my environment. That's the most important things, because I didn't. I was not so crazy to think that I will have a flat listening studio, but I think my goal was to be quite that the studio has to be quite balanced, and this is it's asymmetric, because on this side I have stone, and the other side I have other material, and by the end it works. It works, and I'm satisfied with the listening. Not only myself, of course, I invite other artists to. The first thing, because Martin Butrich is living here, I asked Martin to bring a reference track and listen how was it, and so he was really satisfied, and from that point I start to the process to understand where is the limit of the studio, instead of like going crazy and try to reach the optimum. This is really important to know. To adapt to, you have to adapt to yourself, to the studio, to the environment, and certain, because you have to only three way to build your studio. It's all you do by yourself, as Stef is doing, and but you have to do. You have to have a lot of knowledge, and to do things properly. I have some knowledge, but not. And the second one is my one. Economically speaking, is that I ask help to softwares, and the third one is engineering. The engineers that comes here, and it could be really, really expensive. So I tried the second option, and I'm really happy so far. So it's I feel comfortable.
That's good. So Steph, you can ask the master for advice if you need any.
Yeah,
for sure. Always,
yeah, I think you're right, Gaetano. It's in the end, it's. I mean, you can be completely scientific about it, but in the end, you just have to create a vibe where you are happy to work, and every room, no matter how well they are designed, they have some shortcomings in some respect. So the way you feel is also very important. The way,
and if you know how it sounds.
Yeah, knowing your room, knowing the sound,
exactly.
working with the shortcomings. It can be terrible, but there's always a way to improve it. With materials that you just put somewhere, and just moving around until you're happy with the sound.
Absolutely. There is, I found that it was like the classic hole on 100 hertz, but then, when you move, you start to understand. You have reference that we build reference in the past through the time, and you understand exactly where is the gap, and you try to. Is that it doesn't worth it to spend like crazy money to try to reach something that's quite impossible to do. Like you can improve always, of course. I'm still in the process, actually.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. Yeah.
Yeah, always, and that's the beauty. Like everything is like amazing.
Yeah.
Probably that's why we are here, because we are still so fascinated about this. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Steph, is there anything you learned from your old studio that you're going to do differently, except for this acoustic part that you were maybe in terms of setup or the way you organized your gear and the placement of it and stuff like that?
I'm basically I'm trying to learn from everything. But on about the studios overall, but I've changed my studio in Moscow twice, so 2 different constructions, And then in Berlin was the third one, and now is the fourth one. So yeah, and yeah, I mean, a lot of experience came from after the Berlin construction. So I mean, it's with me, it's always like super unorthodox, super super individual. You know, I'm really, even if I'm trying to do something by the book, which is fundamentally important to do some basic things by the book. I always have the need to add something from my inner core, whether it's technical or aesthetical, you know. So basically, I design a black box that has no colors, no nothing, nothing that can distract me aesthetically. And technically, it's, I can tell to the people that might be something interesting for them. It's not the best technically. It's not by the book. No, it's not the best studio to produce music, because it's more dry than needs to be. But for my specific frequency spectrum that I want to hear in my music, it works perfectly. So basically, from 50 Hz to 10K maximum, it's all good. But yeah, if you want to produce or listen and analyze acoustic music, like the air between a violin and a fortepiano and a fagotto, for sure, it's not the best thing. I guess it's not the most. Yeah, it's not by the book. You know, it's not the academic way of doing an acoustic room. But for techno, yeah, I have a mindset where I just craft my own technology in everything I do. You know, techno.
Oh, that's great.
Like,
that's great.
This is my mindset to anything I do, actually. So everything for me is just well, techno is a simple way of thinking and doing things in life. Everything has some kind of construction. So techno is a construction for me, and everything has a prototype of a construction. So I'm just trying to build my own constructions around me, and to reflect my constructions into a little construction that can sound in somewhere, you know. So yeah, kind of as well. So yeah, that's all about. Yes, without fagotto and violence. So yeah, academic knowledge is it's also very important, but with me, yeah, for me and about me, yeah, everything is a little more unorthodox.
That's cool. In the comments, people are joking about you saying your studio being dry. So somebody's saying, "Oh, what do you mean? No flooding, or no?" Anyway, but yeah, I guess you mean, or I know you mean, there's no reverb. But how do you? That was one thing that came up in my mind. How do you marry the idea of having such a dry studio and the end result almost always being played in clubs with, or in environments with a tail, or with an acoustic sort of tail to it, or reverb?
Okay. That's all about, I don't know. It's a symbiosis of it's a combo or symbiosis. I don't know. Yeah, of many things. I have a quite step-by-step routine of how I do craft the sound first. So basically, a specific envelope on a bass line, like a tom that has a membrane filling. You can just resonate the membrane, from the tom, and it can just you can just accent it on the tail and set up the envelopes on the drums so it can sound like a reverb. So I don't know. Yeah, it happens. It always happens. It always happens organically. I don't know. Yeah.
Do your ears not tire sooner in a dry studio?
It's not completely dry. It's not completely dry. I mean, I've been in some good studios, and I'm just comparing to the real perfectionist, very expensive studios. They are not that dry. They are just super balanced. And comparing to these super balanced studios, my studio has air because 4 square meters behind me, it's always open, and the whole studio is closed, and my back is always open. So I can say something like 40% air. Engineers might understand what I say. So 60% dry, 40% wet. It's like semi-closed headphones. The feeling. So for me, it's very important that I can touch 300 Hz to 700 Hz. That's my most important frequency spectrum. The frequency spectrum that makes me dance the most. Because if I don't really shake my body when I even when I sit and produce music, I cannot really turn off the knowledge and all the by the book stuff to just let myself dive into this groove. So if I don't really hear this the most critical spectrum for to dance, I don't really feel it. So in my studio, this spectrum is I can touch it. I can touch it and I can feel it with on my chest. So yes,
it's generally the spectrum you're mentioning is generally also the most difficult one to get right. So I agree. I mean this. I think now you explained it a bit more in detail. I think it's very similar to the room that I'm in. It is not perfectly acoustically treated, but it has some sound to it. But it's dry enough or solid enough or balanced enough to know exactly what's going on, without being in such a claustrophobic, completely vacuum type space, because that drives me nuts, man. I can't stand those rooms like that.
I used to be, but since I was 22 till 30, like every day since 9 o'clock in the morning till midnight in the studio, these dark things like Batman things, really you need some, at this moment right now, I really need that, that I have an environment where I can feel comfortable somehow.
Yeah.
And it's a blanket, you take it from one side and your feet is coming out from the other. So to the side.
That's the first time. Yeah, exactly.
To the side, somehow. Yeah.
What about you, Eric? Do you have any special thoughts when you were working on designing your space?
No, because we're in a live room of an actual studio, and the thing is, I've been there with Aaron for years now, so we know it's not perfect because it sounds great. Everything sounds great, But and then when you go to the control room, it's like, oh, you know.
Mm.
But we know that now. So knowing the room is very important. I'm thinking about getting a lower ceiling in the place where we actually working. That's the idea, to get some more to make the room a little bit smaller, as it were, because it goes anywhere. But usually I'm now at home. This is my studio now. It's ta-da, and it's where I do most of my stuff, and I know how it sounds on my headphones. That's that because we have a baby and stuff. That's what I can do now, and I'm fine with it, and I love it that I can take out some machines and work here on the table, and that's the project for that evening. But no, no, really, it's just that room is so old, man. It's been built in '85, I think, and it's just we have some gobos. How do you say it?
Go with yeah.
Yeah, behind us, and it works, and it's nice to actually make the music there. The mixing is I do either in the control room or on my headphone, or I go to my friend Tim Franke, and he mixes it for me.
Yeah, there's actually some talk in the comments about monitoring on headphones.
Yeah, actually, I'm doing that recently because I'm the face of mixing my last project, and I use a lot on really for the details right now for the first time ever headphones, and I saw a comment about software that can help on to balance, and there are a few of them that I really don't trust, like softwares like that um, um, they profile your studio, because it's always so difficult to make a right microphonage with the microphone take, because it's always not precise. But I think for the headphones, there are some software that they have the profilature, the profiles headphones, and one of them is Sienna. I use a lot Sienna recently, and for acoustic audio thing. Yeah, yeah, something like that. And there are different software out there, but it helped me a lot recently working on the headphones. I never did it, and it's something I'm gonna do in the future as well. Like,
That's cool. Yeah, I think I agree with you. I mean, unless your room is actually really really terrible, it's maybe not such a good idea to have all this correction going on in your system somewhere in the chain, because it's just going to throw you off even more from what you are actually doing. I don't
Exactly.
know. I mean, there are definitely some things that can help, but it makes more sense to just tune your room, just moving things around and see how you can get to a better result using that
It's
instead of
always
resort.
yeah.
Yeah,
To be aware, what I was saying, to be aware about the weakness of your studio,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
turning around this way. Yeah, that's like, yeah.
yeah, yeah. True. Yeah, I think if you spend time just getting to know your room, it takes about, I would say, well, at least months, if not years, to actually understand what's going on in your room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like a car that you are a racing car. There is you do the run, and then you stop you on the garage for a pit stop. To make everything better than the last run, and then you go out again. You try again. And it's like you're really close to that process, and it takes a while to have a really nice race car. So like good one. So
Yeah.
takes
Where's
time.
the cat? Where's the cat?
It's not my.
Oh, in Eric's. Okay. Bring it into the frame because we will double the amount of viewers when we have
Definitely,
animals
definitely.
in the frame.
I think
Definitely.
this is the one that never shows herself to anybody. You know. It's
Okay,
like,
a mysterious
friends are
cat.
like, you have 2 cats, really? And I only see one. It's,
Okay, well, I mean, it proved its existence by meowing.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe let's go back to this thing that we were talking about last week, Eric, because you have this project planned, or maybe you're actually already working on it, that requires to record some stuff using mics. What was the question? What's the thing you're trying to figure out?
What I'm trying to do is make a recording with. I want to have several tapes and tape loops move around with music that is compatible with each other, of course. Move around in a space and have that actually like come towards you or go around you, like everything you can do in a computer, but analog and with
Wow.
people moving. Yeah.
So you mean the speakers and
Yeah.
the speakers will actually be, carried around or moved around the space, and
yeah,
that's
with something like this, you know, or
and then you want to capture the movement and the space
exactly.
as
and I
much
was
as possible.
Yeah,
Right.
and I was thinking maybe have dancers perform it because I think it's quite a choreography maybe. You know, it's the idea came when I told you we remember our dead in the 4th of May, and we were standing on a square, and there was all streets coming into the square, and from the streets there were these little groups of a choir, and they came singing slowly, moving towards the people in the middle. And that was very, very, very beautiful as well. And it's of course a very serious moment, but sonically it's amazing. You know, I went to Turkey to play like years ago, and they had the morning calls to morning prayer. But you hear one close by, and you hear one really far in the distance. You hear all these, and it all melts together in this. Yeah, you say like a high pitched drone or something, you know. So that's the idea I want to.
Yeah, so you want to
do.
capture space, and you're especially interested in actually also capturing the distance and the movement of
Exactly.
the sources of the audio, right?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
It's challenging.
yeah. I asked several people because I don't know. You know, it's like.
Well, the thing
not-
is, if you're in a space, there is sound around you, and the human ear can pick up direction.
Yeah.
So, and if you're listening to a set of speakers or even on headphones, there is no direction because there's just an axis between A and left and right. All you can do is suggest space, basically, or you have to work with a multiple, more than 2 speaker setup. So you create a field between the
Yeah.
speakers. Then you can actually, if you use quad or 5.1 or even more, then it becomes easier. You can actually place the sounds in the space in the field the way you hear it in real life, But in a stereo field, then all you can do is suggest it. So you can use ambisonics, or you can use any kind of sort of spatial technology to recreate it, or you can just try to capture it with a bunch of stereo mic setups
I think
placed in
that's
different,
maybe-
and then make a balance between them, so they actually or even sort of mix between them in different levels to create suggestion of space. But it's
Yeah.
really hard to create 3D sound with a stereo microphone or a stereo microphone.
I heard some recordings by Stockhausen, like the old guy, and
The old guy.
yeah, it really that had that effect almost. It's I forgot what it was called, but it really moved, and it was not just left and right. It was there was a
Front to back, yeah.
Yeah, that too. And I have some plugins that do that very well, but I thought for the whole concept, and I want to work with tape, and it's. I just really would like to do that physically.
Well, I mean, the better your mic is going to be, the more dynamic range and the more things it picks up, the better your capture is going to be. You might want to try, yeah, you might want to try 32-bit float. If you the files, if you want to not be surprised by clipping or too quiet passages, because that format allows a huge dynamic range. You can never really go wrong with the dynamics on in that format. That's
I learned
probably
another thing, and that's good.
yeah. So that's the thing you might want to prepare for, and the more pairs you have, the more captures, the more versions of the capture you have to work with. Then you leave the choice basically up to the end. If you just use two mics to capture the whole thing, there's nothing really much you can do. But if you have several pairs,
be louder, I guess, instead of you feeling the direction, it just would be getting louder if it come closer to the mic.
Yeah, but also you can also see what pair actually captures the space the best. And just go with the one that represents your project to the truest way, basically.
Yeah.
And then and you can make balances between the one. I don't know. That's how I would record and capture as much as possible. Just get all the mics you can get. And even mono mics, or just get as many as you can get, and just all record it during the performance. And then because it's really hard to find. Sorry.
I think I started because the idea was to do it actually outside. Because you have there's this thing in Amsterdam called the NDSM, which is a harbor. They used to build ships there, and this is a lovely thing next to the water. So I was thinking to capture it has a really strange. There's a building next to it, and it has a really strange delay type thing, where you can, if people come by, they in the distance you hear them better than when they're close by. It's really odd. So I tried to capture that too, and I don't think there's mics enough to get that, because it's outside and
Oh, Gaetano is going on holiday.
Yeah, now he's getting the mic.
Changing the temperature.
Yes.
But we'll see. It's a fun thing to actually work on. And
yeah, it sounds like a really fun project, but a big challenge. If you want to truthfully capture the movement in the space.
To actually do it analog, physically, that's the hard part. I think to what you say, to capture it.
Yeah, and also the more sensitive your mics are, the more they're going to pick up. So if you have people moving around the tape decks and the speakers, you're gonna have all the footsteps and the physical artifacts of that stuff as well.
Yeah, and then you have like the thing like how we're gonna sync all the tape decks. Like how. It's like
3, 2, 1. Now.
That's never gonna be on time, But I discovered working with tape. It's that I don't mind. If it's not very in. It can there can be quite a bit delay between the different notes, and I don't mind. If it's
it's part of the fun.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Sounds great. I mean, does any one of you two, Gaetano or Stef, have any ideas how to approach this?
No, really. I'm really fascinated. It's a brand new word to me, like microphones and these kind of things. Like, I never get really close to. I'm really, how do you say? Practical, like I go straight to the point, and this is part of something that I will definitely like to learn in the future, all these different things. That's why I'm always fascinated to listen and learn new things. It's not a field that I have a lot of knowledge about. No, I don't have any idea.
That's cool. What about you, Stef?
No, not my. That's just not my thing. I mean, yeah.
I sound.
But you use tape, right, Stef, for other reasons?
I use tape as an equalizer and as a compressor, as a exciter, as a compressor. Yeah, but
As an
mainly
equalizer? What do you mean as an equalizer?
Yeah,
How?
mainly as an equalizer.
Explain that.
Well, okay. Now we go to the nerd stuff.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. I have like three basic cassettes I use to cut the low end and simultaneously at the same time fighting or just hitting the drums. Like yeah. So every cassette has its own, every tape has its own bias, you know.
Character.
Bias settings, you know, and
Right.
spectrum basically. So and I'm just cutting the low end that I don't need. Like I can cut like I'm just cutting not sterilic, but trying to cut harmonically. What I mean by cutting some frequencies, low frequencies, I'm just at the same time saturating and compressing the sound. So I'm just getting a completely different
I'm doing something similar.
sound on at the end. So I have like it works for me as a chain. So what I do, it's like I will talk for long now.
No, it's cool. I mean,
are you sure you wanna?
yeah. There's so
We're
just
gonna talk
one.
long about tape. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Okay, because I've changed some decks and reels, and I have a little experience in this thing. So and I've ended up with my C3RX TIC. It's a company that it's the company behind Tascam, TIC, TEAC.
Tiak, yeah.
TEAC, yeah. So it's a Japanese tech, very old. So I'm actually crafting the main sound on my rompler and my sampler, and resampling, resequencing the sequences through my chain editing, dynamic processing editing chain. Okay, so it's first thing is if for example I'm sitting and trying to craft some aggressive chords, yeah. So I'm always doing something concrete. Doing chords, for example, I'm picking the cassette, which is like from 70s, I don't know, or 80s. And I know that this cassette actually cuts the low end and as well as the high end, the pop frequencies, like everything from 7,000 hertz is just cut, you know, and I use this cassette and I'm cutting the unwanted, for me, frequencies, and I'm just saturating with the input to the tape, and it just gets harmonics, and at the same time I have no muscle on my chords, yeah, because when I do my chords, I usually play at least five notes. So yeah, and like semi notes as well, tones. Yeah. So it's quite a fat thing, you know, that it takes too much space to add it into the mix. So I'm cutting the low end, and then it goes to my MFC filter. And saturating, of course, and I'm on top of this, I'm just cutting a low end or high end after the tape. If there is something screaming, or it has some low information that the tape physically cannot cut it. I'm just cutting with high pass. After that, on the chain, in a situation where I have drums, for example, I have a subharmonic oscillator to compensate all the low end that I lost from the tape. Okay. Yeah, and then
I'm following you.
And then at the end. So I basically subharmonic oscillator just it's just take the whole spectrum one octave lower, and it adds the 20-30 Hertz, the beef, let's say, and I'm just basically instead of touching like the faders on the gains, I'm just balancing between the dynamics of these machines, like the tape, the deck, the filter, which also can saturate or control harmonics with the resonance, for example, and then subharmonic oscillator, and then I have a compressor gator, which actually can give me the final master envelope.
And you're talking about just one sound, right? This is not about running an entire mix through this process. This is basically how you.
Like I always do like drums or chords or pads or
like a
leads,
bus, basically, like
exactly.
a group of stuff. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like and also I'm just resampling everything 2-3 times, to gain the sound that I need to be prepared to just chop it and just play it live 5 minutes, and I have the track ready. So yeah, I'm just recording long sequences of the prepared sound, resequencing the sequences, doing also then when I have the color that satisfies me from the deck, and I can just run out a few sequences through the MFC and just LFO, do some filtering, and I just record something like 20 minutes, and then I just use it separately then. And at the end, I'm getting a kind of one complicated box sound, that always sounds like I want to sound,
Right.
So and
okay. So the process is basically you spend a lot of time designing your individual elements and giving them a lot of character before you even arrange them. So you make big chunks of music that you put together very quickly afterwards. Okay. That makes sense. Well, that's interesting. I mean, but the whole
that's how I use
So basically the whole tape situation in your case is to introduce character and to sort of sculpt them into a sort of sonic space that you like, and before you arrange them, right?
It was interesting about the bias on the tape, because I do something similar, but not on a single elements or stems, but in general, because right now I'm using a Sami mix from Dangerous that they got 3 bottoms. One is a saturator. The second one is limits. It's called. It's a parallel compressor inside. So what I'm doing is actually to EQ the entire tracks, and then there is a transformer that actually give it the like that on 50 or some
Transformer sound.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
transformer sound, exactly. And then I have an insert, but on the parallel with that knob, on the parallel this parallel compressor knobs, actually it blends the sound, and with if I turn it, actually more I turn it, more it's of course it is going to lose on the low frequencies. So I use that actually to balance a little bit at the end, all analog. In this way, it's like a little bit like the bias it was saying with the tape, but I use on the final mixing before the mix bus compression.
Right. So you kind of mix with the idea that you're always going to kind of rebalance the low high
Exactly.
tilt kind of
I can
until
push
the
in a
last
lot.
stage. Yeah. Yeah.
I can push a lot on the mixing, when I balance all the groups, and then I can slightly go down a little bit to get more like open everything, give more like stereo fields and less boomy frequencies.
Right. Interesting to hear all these totally custom custom ways of getting to the sound you want. I mean, that's the fun thing about the whole process, and about chats like these, because everybody found their own way somehow to make it work,
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
great to hear about them.
Creativity,
or, or
creativity.
at
Yeah.
or at least trying. I'm trying, like I'm trying to add something every time, like to touch something, to change something,
Yeah.
so
Well,
at
I
least
mean,
trying.
but your music definitely has a totally recognizable sonic character. Everything you do has this sort of Stef sauce to it, Definitely. Yeah, there's
This is the best compliment ever. Like for a
No, it's true.
producer.
It is true. It is true. I mean,
It's
That's
like when
it
you watch, like you go in the gallery and see Picasso. You see there is a Picasso. I'm not calling you Picasso, but but it's the way it is. It's really important. Sorry.
No, it's true. It's very true. I mean, I would say in your case even more so than with most other producers. It's there are a few producers that if I get a track played without I know who it is, if it's one of yours, I know instantly. In the first bar, I know. Okay, this is Stef. For sure, there's a
Thank
very
you.
specific, no, a very specific thing, and it's a good one. It's a good one too. It's not like, okay, this guy is pulling the same trick every time. It's not that, It's just an aesthetic that is all over all your stuff, which is very
Tuba
recognizable.
violoncello.
Well, thank you. I do really appreciate it, and I'm personally I'm really trying every time to deliver something that has more technology, and because what I do is like just crafting new technologies and what we all do, yeah. And to have at the end to have fun. I'm just balancing always between the knowledge I'm trying to dive in and learn and progress, and integrate to my own specific architecture of doing things technically, and also balancing with one thing, just having fun in the studio, whether the studio is perfect, the sound is or the sound is just having fun, like I'm trying to balance between these two things and trying to do something new every time. But yeah, there's I can agree, there's always something that I subconsciously don't I cannot change because
That's your signature. Yeah, I mean, but the cool thing is, the way you just explained how you just sort of your specific way of sculpting sounds and then putting them together and stuff like that is very specific, and it almost sounds like it's scientific or like a thought process, but yet your music is very playful and very direct, and there's no trace of somebody
It's easy.
overthinking. Yeah, so you're definitely overthinking, not overthinking what you're doing. You're just expressing whatever you feel, but there's like this whole sort of sculpting process that goes into it, which is great. I mean, that's a really good balance between trying to sort of be very specific about your sound and at the same time being able to express your idea in a really direct way. It's cool. Not many
Exactly,
people can do that.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm at least trying, and let's see. And I think that I really wish. One thing on just I don't know how this thing is called. Overall, I just see that I hear sometimes really more often and often really good aesthetically good DJs, and I sometimes happen that we have a conversation, and I see people are really struggling more and more, and that's not a good thing. And I just really wish that people will just focus more on the part of having fun, and less on these scientific, technical marketing. Also, from companies think, yeah, don't dive too deep.
It's a
Try
rabbit
to
hole,
have
isn't it?
fun. Yeah,
It can
yeah. I
become,
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
But can also be great fun, to figure stuff out.
sure.
But
It's a balance. Yeah, it's a balance. Must be a balance. I mean,
yeah,
everything has its own time. Everything must have its own time, and not volume. Sorry for my English. I would say how big it is. How much time you spend for this. Everything must be kind of balanced for every individual. But yeah, at the end, it's about music, and music is about feeling something. And at the end, I prefer to feel something that leads to happiness, not to destruction. And at the end, you must have fun by doing what you love. So yeah, just focus on having fun, and that's my little advice
No,
for
no, it's true. Because
yeah.
the only way to improve yourself is having fun. We learn by having fun, even at school. I never learned anything at school because I was not having fun. As soon it's so easy. So like, but it's the way it is. As soon as I jump in the studio, I can't stop to learn. Like, and but at the same time, you have to really. I love this the producer to be a producer because it's also like really challenging, like psychologically. First of all, like you spend like hours with yourself by yourself, and so your inner dialogue sometimes when you switch off music start again to appears. And then one thing is that you have to really to let it go. So, and let it go, it means that for example, understand when a track is done, or you're not overdoing things, and stuff like that. This is really challenging, and that because we always try to prove ourselves that we can do better than that. But at that point is the fun is always over. Actually, the creativity, the things that to jump in the studio, doing mistakes, jumping, like that's why it's so important that for my advice is like I fucking hate like 90% of the I think producer. If you're not really crazy, I think that it's like writing, all all the tracks, like writing the tracks actually on and recording live, everything live. Even if you do like mistakes or something, you just start to record it. Then if it's gone something is bad, you go back, but don't lose that time. So really is getting back for what Steph was saying, like having fun all the time, like not overthinking and do the things. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, be free in the studio and have fun is not really easy. It's I think it's harder right now than 20 years ago, for example, or 25 years ago,
Absolutely.
because
Why?
I agree.
we
He's right.
I will explain
Too
what
many
I mean,
options.
and actually these specific analysis actually helped me to craft my daily routine of doing what I love. Yeah, so like 20 years ago, you had you didn't have that much options to do. Like right now, you have too many things that you can choose to do. Like you can do whatever you want. Life right now is like, I don't know, you have too many options to have fun
But
right
it's a
now.
choice. It is a choice to actually look at
Definitely,
the options.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. But back in the days, I mean, uh, you had I mean, you saw a sampler, like a little box, and it's fucking limited. You cannot do many things with this box. And then that's the point where your brain starts like the motivation starts to generate creativity, and you are starting thinking uh, to grow the creativity with those little limits. So right now it's I also feel that it's not easy to set up concrete limits to reflect your inner world by setting up those kind of limits, because instruments and what you can do with instruments right now is super unlimited. Like I don't know, like for me, the connections and the modules that you can actually connect right now, and the access you have to connect such a many things in software and as well with machines, it's just limitless. And sometimes I feel that the limitation that was a normality 20 years ago was actually a little good point where you can grow your creativity with
Yeah, yeah.
those kind of limits,
I
you
mean,
know.
you're totally right. I mean, this comes up in most of the chats that we do. Everybody has basically found this out, by just being in the studio all the time and just being overwhelmed with all the possibilities. But most people have actually found a way, and some people might make it into some kind of game. Okay, I'm just going to use this instrument and this, and that's all I'm going to use for this week or for this project or whatever. Stuff like that, or you can give yourself a time limit, or there's
Time limit.
yeah, or you can give, you can decide not to use any processing and just focus on the music. I don't know. There's so many ways to kind
Definitely.
of block yourself from going into these unlimited possibilities if something isn't going as planned. And you can, yeah. So everybody has found their own solutions, I guess.
I tend
I think
to
this is a very familiar subject, to be honest. If you're working in the studio,
Yeah.
everybody's bumped into the situation where they are, the easiest way to fix a problem might be, or your brain might say, okay, let's open another sort of plug-in, or add an effect or whatever to make it better. But sometimes that's just not what it needs, because it was shit to begin with. So
The
you have
idea
you
needs
forced
to
to
be
read.
strong.
All
Yeah,
perfect way it is.
yeah,
I
exactly.
wanna
Yeah, yeah.
I want to say a big thank you to Japanese engineers personally who actually helped me to to understand that it's not that I need to try a new instrument, but I just need to to crank, I don't know, the to understand and learn even better than the engineer who engineered this rompler, this machine, you know. I just need to learn it better, to use it better. And this is the thing that I just need to produce music, you know, because they already did, I think, everything I personally need to produce music, like any Roland Rompler, or you know, like or a good sampler or whatever, you know, like a group box. Yeah, it already has almost everything you need, you know. So you just need to learn it. For me, just my personal opinion, I just need to learn it better, to a level of like to hack it, you know, to do
Yeah,
something new in it, you
Yeah,
know.
and find out about how you can abuse it
Yeah,
as well.
yes,
yeah. I think
yes,
the market is based on selling
like
shortcuts. Actually, you
like
know.
Mm,
like the
yeah,
JJ Olson MPC, you know, like something new, a new architecture of crafting things, you know, like think even bigger than the engineer who crafted this, because he is an engineer. He's not just like he's not a musician, yeah. So he has a different type of thinking, but you are using the instrument and you can actually grow with the instrument and learn it to the maximum. And this is something this drives me really yeah, a lot. And I love to just work with one thing and learn it to the maximum.
mm,
And it's yeah, it's with the main instrument actually I work. It happens that I always, not always, but sometimes I learn something, a little detail, a little imperfection that actually also does something, you know, like it's the JV 1080. It's just, you know, a Rompler. Yeah, and I just love it. Yeah, to learn it, to use it every time. Just one thing, you know, one instrument. Yeah,
cool. So Eric, do you
yeah.
have any ways of not falling in the rabbit hole of infinite possibilities?
Yeah, yeah. I think so. Well, it took me.
Be on time.
It took me. I think up till quite recently to feel free in the studio. But on the other hand, I used MPC 3000 for 20 years. It's one machine, and it never felt limited. You know, because you can do so much with it. Yeah, I love it. And
Yes,
what I do now for my
yes.
for my ambient stuff is that's why I like getting back to the tapes. I have here one cassette deck. It plays at a normal speed and quarter speed. And what I do now is I make these little miniature music pieces, and then I put them on tape, and then re-record them at a fourth of the speed, and then it's all, I don't know, magic happens. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, and that is the base for the rest of the track, and
Mm.
I can do that in a couple of hours just sitting here, and I'm having so much fun, and it's just really just exploring stuff, and
This is amazing. This
Yeah,
is
it's
the
really
also
thing
amazing.
sounds like a very focused way of getting things started, because it's always this routine of you doing this noodling whatever and
yeah,
recording it
I,
and then see what happens. It's amazing how much is revealed when you play something at half or quarter speed, man. It's
yeah, and
I love that.
the thing is, I do a lot of ambient stuff as well. That's what I found. Why I found out the quarter speed thing is amazing, because it you have to actually play something, then pitch it up a couple of octaves, because otherwise everything will sound like it doesn't, you know, it's just too low. So you have to figure that out, and then it comes out of that thing, and it adds a whole layer of uh, uh, time lost or time. I don't know. It sounds like nothing I could actually make, although it's my own music, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how I've actually experimented with this quite a lot as well. And no matter how if, for example, if you do want to do something really calming and very sort of I hate the word ambient, but you know what I mean, right? Like with sort of droney or whatever. And no matter no matter how much you calm yourself down and play things at a very slow pace, or try to put this sort of state of droniness or ambientness in the recording, no matter how much you try, when you slow it down, you finally arrive at the actual speed that it's for some reason, even if you go really slow and really sort of very slow moving, if you slow it down, it's even it's
better.
It's good. No matter how slow it was in the
the tracks I'm doing now are 30 BPM. Right. So it's like I play like a little thing at 120, and then it goes to 30,
right?
And that's great for ambient. And then I play other stuff at 30 BPM to add to it. But what I want to do now is, because it's all, if it's 30 BPM, then it's also working at 60 BPM and 120 BPM. So what I want to do now is incorporate that 30 BPM feel into more techno type tracks at 130 or whatever. So you would end up with at 32 BPM, that would be 128 BPM.
And that makes a big difference, huge difference. 32.
Yeah, and if you play chords at 30 BPM, it's like whoosh, it's just so, it's amazing. And I like to have several layers of rhythm working together, or several tempi, as it were.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like a really good idea to, because no matter how well you try, how it's instead of you can say to yourself, okay, I would be able to achieve this if I just play things half time. But it's different. Yeah. It's not the same as slowing down a recording. The slowing down does add some significant change to whatever you're doing. Yeah.
The slowing down does something I can't do.
Exactly.
And it adds something. It's like almost like I see that tape.
It's magic.
It is the magic of tape. I see it really as a different, as a filter, as it were. Something you put through it, and it will add their own character, but also the whole feel of it changes. Mm-hmm. And I like to combine that, because I've been working in the ambient thing and low drone. I want to have that in dance tracks well, where I can like have the atmospherics at 33.
Yeah. So in you mean like they could be perceived in sort of danceable territory space, but they still have the pace of something which is quarter speed or half speed.
Yeah. So you have like the relentless beat going, but underneath there's this.
Yeah. Nice.
That's the new plan.
Pitch
sounds great.
Pitch up. Pitch down, and you get it al dente. That's it.
Yeah.
I was already relaxing, right? 30 minutes, just think about it.
This is the way, Pitch it up, pitch it down. This is the easiest way to make techno. Easy.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then you get the sauce. Easy. You need an MPC 3000, yeah?
Yeah.
Or an emulator, at least. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't. It's maybe I haven't used the MPC with the tape decks, but that sounds like a very good plan. That's going to be incorporated as well, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, even with those few bits of gear, there's endless possibilities. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Gaetano, I remember from last time you were here that as soon as we went offline and ended up in the after chat, you were talking about something that you forgot, and it had to do with I think mixing or processing or whatever. Do you remember what I'm talking about? There was something you said. Ah, shit! I wanted to talk about this special thing.
No, what? No, it was to cut vinyl. I want to buy the
Oh,
machine.
okay, okay.
That was a different thing.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
No, I just remembered we forgot to cover something, so I thought maybe I'll we can
no,
bring it
no,
up
no.
now.
No, no, this is completely another topic. That really, I'm still there. Then all the things happen, and all my personal positive things is going to happen. So it's something, the project that is a little bit by side, but it's something I was really interesting to learn and get more into. And I really love what you're doing there, like cutting your own vinyls. I understood that it's a long process. You told me that to like process. I mean, like learning process to get to the right decent result. To when because it's something totally new that really fascinated me. Like
Yeah, I must warn you though. If you start, there is no end to it. It's another one of those things that has endless variables and endless possibilities, and you can. It takes a long time to find your signature sound. There's a lot. Yeah, like the variables are crazy. I mean, it's a physical process, right? So it's something that is sensitive to a lot of things, even heat or humidity and
dust,
the whole
whatever it is,
pressure.
yeah.
There are so many things, and it's material that is not consistent either. It's like there's always something going on which changes the end result, but it's it takes a lot of time to learn about all these variables.
How is going? How is going so far? Like
really good. Oh yeah, man. It's I mean, the cool thing is, it's the feeling of having control or having some way of having influence on the aesthetics and sound and your taste all the way up to the end, the very end of the process is just a really good feeling. And once you know the range of stuff you can choose from in that stage of cutting the vinyl, you can play around with the variables and play around with the different options that you have to even sort of make it sound more like your cut or your record. What you can enhance the expression of the record when there's so many possibilities. It's crazy. But it's again, it takes. I must say, I would say 2 years of practice before you get there.
Yeah, for you. I mean, for me, it's 10.
I think,
sure.
I think I think you could do it. You could do it. No, I think. I mean, it's like with everything.
I ring your bell. It's easier.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome to have a go, but it is one of these things. You start doing it, and then you think you are on your way until you are much further on, and you realize that everything you've done so far is completely shit.
It's something. I thought that I can imagine how many vinyl you put on the trash. Yeah, like especially in the
Thousands.
beginning. Oh yeah, so look your face; it changed completely. Thousands, seriously. No, I can imagine. Are you? Is it the same feeling that when, for example, I listened the first stuff that I was doing, I don't know, 25 years ago, and it sounds terrible, and I mean, it's the same kind of feeling when you listen the first vinyl that you cut. So right now I mean, you improve a lot since then.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like Well, the goal in the beginning was to make the record sound exactly like the master, the digital master. That's a good ambition as a first thing. And if you master that, if you once you know how to do that, you can start playing around with the variables to sort of tailor it in a bit, in a way to make it sound, to actually incorporate the sound of the vinyl or incorporate the sound of the process, if you like or not. But in the beginning, it didn't sound like anything like the master, and we discovered ways to get closer and closer, and just kept on calibrating and kept on.
Is it vinyl? Would you cut?
Yeah, it's actual vinyl. It's not acetate. It's
I mean, it's not PVC.
Yeah, it's PVC. Yeah, I mean PVC.
Is there any technical difference between vinyl and PVC?
No, it's the same. But
Same
so
thing.
it's a acetate is actually a different kind of material. That's what they usually use to make record masters. And then they are very fragile, and they don't last very long. You can play them, but if you are, then they degrade very, very quickly, and usually they have to be used to make the metalworks within a week. Otherwise, they even degrade without playing them. They are very, very fragile. So with the ones we are cutting here are actual vinyl, like PVC vinyl, and they're as durable as pressed vinyl records. So they're the same material as your pressed record.
What about the loudness?
I mean, the loud. What I said is, the goal was to make them as loud as the digital master, and we calibrated the system here so we can A/B between the file, the digital file playing, and then back to the vinyl, and just quickly sort of swap between them.
Yeah.
And so you can hear instantly how the EQ and the loudness compares to what you have cut, and we can get that. We can get it like 99% close.
Wow.
There will be some difference. Maybe the stereo field suffers a slight bit, and depending on the material, there is some saturation in the highs, or there is some in other fields. It depends on each track. Each track is different, and every track, cutting each track has a different set of changes that are introduced by the process. So some, even if you have one EP, every track needs different sort of EQing just to get it the same as the digital file, because for example, if there's more mid-range in one track, it reacts differently to the process, so you have to compensate for that a little bit. If you want to go as loud as you want, then the louder you go, the more sort of strange accumulations of frequencies and resonant areas you get, and then you have to compensate for those to get even louder, So
the blanket.
Yeah. So you can keep pushing it, and at some point you hit the physical limitation of the material. Basically, that's the story, So at some point it's only going to get worse. It's louder in theory, but in it'll sound just really meshed and really smeared and terrible. So there is like a sweet spot, and I would say the sweet spot is in a 1.5 dB range. If you go lower than that, the dynamics disappear because it's too low, and if you go louder than that, the dynamics disappear because it's too loud.
Okay.
And in between that, you can get it just right, and it's different for every type of material, every track you cut. But hitting that sweet spot is always a good feeling. It's like, now we're there. Now I hear what I want to hear, and now it's all there. What I intended with the music, and it takes a bit of tweaking, but it's a fun process.
Okay. How many of you are there? Like, I know there is. I saw on one episode. He was he couldn't show himself. Am I correct that the guy that is in charge to cut the vinyl there?
Mm-hmm. Fritz is here in the comments.
Yeah. Okay. So I was really
Shout out to Fritz.
So especially when I was really fascinated by all the process and everything there, and yeah, it's a good thing. Actually, it's kind of unique what you're doing there. So really good.
Yeah, it eliminates a lot of things that you run into when you have a sort of traditional label. You don't have to press your 500 copies. You don't have to break even. So you can release whole side of farts if you want, because if nobody's buying them, you're not cutting them. You know what I mean? So it's like, it is basically, the whole idea is just to have a physical evidence of whatever happened here in the lab. So it's like, instead of keeping a diary, it's like keeping a vinyl archive. That's basically the whole idea. And we sell them in small quantities just to make them accessible to other people than just ourselves. But the main thing is just to yeah, I mean it has a bit more value if it's on a physical medium than if it's just sitting on some hard disk somewhere, or you know what I mean.
No,
So it's a good feeling, and it adds a special kind of attention to what you're doing, because your limitation is one side, so, and the feeling of holding your own record in your hand, right? And it is, no matter how you turn it, it is a special feeling. It is like a physical thing. You can be proud of it because it's there. It's like, it has a shape, and it has a
part of you.
Listening experience has requires a bit more effort and attention as well. So it makes you deal with the whole process differently. Instead of just throwing it out there, it actually focuses you on making that that formatted thing, with just the limited amount of time you can get on it, and it makes you choose more carefully what you put on it. And it is just I don't know, it helps thinking about the result in a different way.
And
it adds to the choices you make artistically.
Absolutely. I'm really happy for you because I love this. Quite more to say, I'm jealous because doing things from the beginning to the end, and be able to, decide how everything is going to the end, as you were saying, is the best. And plus about the physical things, I think we are living in era that this huge lie about digital things is like also with plugins and MP3, everything that is digital. I mean, it's a big illusion. You are you think that you own something, but then even with plugins, it's kind that you rent it. It's something that there will not be there in 10 years, and it's a big bubble. I think it's something that they really useful because, for example, I can taste what doesn't mean with the plugin what it sounds more or less have an idea, a Neve or whatever, any hardware machine. You can, but at the end is something that in a few years, because the technology goes so fast, you don't have, you will not have in your hands. So
well, I think I totally get that sentiment, and it is definitely one of the reasons why I think it adds value to music when it's on a physical medium. But I mean, there's also plenty of totally legit and very, very comfortable applications for digital music. You know what I mean? It's like you basically have access to any music all the time, anywhere. You know what I mean? Which is amazing. It's like, it's crazy, but it's as somebody like we are like doing this for as a job, and I think just as a just for thinking about how you do things and what you do and how you decide what to keep and what to not keep and stuff like that. Having something, working towards a physical end product is adding something to that process, and that makes it think. Yeah, it makes you think in a different way, and it's just a badass feeling to to have this put this record on the turntable in the end, and have it in your hands or whatever. That's just it's just a nice feeling.
I was thinking like more than music, like for example, picture, photo, plugins, this kind of stuff. I will be father soon. I want to take picture. I want to press the picture because probably in 10 years, I don't know. I don't know if I will be able to see all the picture that I did in the past. It's something that when there is something physical, you put more attention
Yeah.
on the things and give you different value. So that's what I was saying. That's it.
No, absolutely true. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's at the same time there is a place for all these different ways of
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I think. But anyway, so yeah, I think there's a lot of talk about final cutting. There was one question I just missed it, but I don't see it anymore. But about low end on records. Normally, there is a there's a physical limit. It's a physical medium, and usually stuff. Oh yeah, here we go from Data Rebel 1. What's up, Data Rebel? Yeah, it's a physical medium, so everything over 10K is usually not captured, doesn't really stick to vinyl, and anything under, I would say, I don't know, there's a roll of the material. There's a roll of I would say under 60. I mean, you can get lower frequencies than that, but it takes a lot of bandwidth, to put
Why?
those on vinyl. Yeah, because you have to see it like it's a disc, and on the horizontal movement of the needle is basically your waveform. So that's like your amplitude, and then the up and down movement is stereo. And if you have a needle going side to side and up and down at the same time, there is of course a limitation to how the amplitude in both sides can be. So that's why you mono down your bass, because the most amplitude is in the bass, and usually, you cannot have the needle be everywhere at the same time. So you mono down the bass, so the amplitude of the up and down movement is restricted in that area, so you can still have your horizontal.
And now, to the people who is adding stereo reverb on the kicks, please make your reverb mono as well.
Well, unless it's an aesthetic thing, but yeah, I mean the thing is, as long as you play it, as long as it stays in the digital domain, anything can play it back. It's fine. But if you want to eventually cut it to vinyl, then you have to realize that is going to be cut, or monoed. Usually, record cutting engineers, they cut the low. No, don't cut the low end, but they mono the low end with some kind of imager. There's special tools for that. Just like a band imager type tool, and you can just make everything under, I don't know, 150 or 200 hertz mono. So you lose the dynamics there, the ballistics.
Yes,
and then it will stick to vinyl. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's better when the musician actually have the control and understands what must be mono.
Well, I mean, you can still choose to do it however the hell you want, but if it's going to end up on vinyl, it's going to be cut. So your track will sound not the way you intended, and it'll be different. So, and it's not necessary to.
You say 60 hertz on vinyl.
Well,
60.
Yeah, I mean there is, you can go lower, but again, it'll be hard to actually get it on. It can be done, but it's just not going to register.
Space. Wow.
Yeah. So final cutting 101.
Cut the bass.
Yeah, exactly. No, but if you ever make it over here, Gaetano, you'll. By the way, it's true for all of you, but we'll give you a little tour. It's
please, no, it will be that would be amazing for me, like to see all the process there. Like, yeah, definitely, with pleasure. Next time I will be downstairs and ringing the bell.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
go
yeah.
to
Actually, yeah, that happened
let's
once,
go.
right?
It happened. It
That happened.
happened.
That happened
It,
before. That was
it
crazy, man. I mean, I was
in that
sitting in
way.
I was sitting in my living room once, and years ago. I think this is probably 20 years ago, right, or something, or 15.
No,
And
no, 20.
yeah, I look outside
20.
in Rotterdam in my house, and I look outside, and Gaetano is walking by the house. I was like, "What the fuck? What are you doing here?"
It's true. I
I
was
need two
thinking,
minutes.
who is the crazy guy that is living there?
I'll be back.
I don't know.
2 minutes.
Okay, yeah,
No, yeah, yeah. I remember. I was really impressed. Yeah, probably it was. I don't know. I didn't see you a lot later for my fault because I know we've been into with Chris.
yeah. That's that tour, yeah, with
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Adam and Chris and Steve, yeah,
yeah. That was super fun.
yeah.
By the way, are you still in Rotterdam? Yes, like
Yeah,
close where you used to be. Or? It's crazy.
a classic moment in techno history. I think you could say that. Yeah. So what else, guys? Yeah, I listened. I listened to this thing you did, Eric. The 303 and one drum machine kind of
808.
project.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Is that out yet?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's
What
on.
if, because
It's on Bandcamp.
oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would encourage people to listen to that because um, it's a combination that has been done thousands of times before, but you have executed it really, really well, and it actually sounds very, very good.
Thank you.
It's a very nice open mix, and very few elements, and yeah, I mean, it's
Thank
an
you.
art. It's an art to be as minimalistic as that stuff is, and still make it like a convincing and beautiful piece of music. It's really, I was
Thank
really
you.
impressed.
Cool. Yeah, it was a I always this is the first time I did something that made completely sense in a conceptual way and on a conceptual level. I just wanted to basically make music for you to fall asleep to or relax to, but using a 303 and an 808 bass drum. And yeah, it's because I never could do like a proper 303 line. I tried and it doesn't. I don't know how it doesn't work for me. So I had to try to do something different. And the thing is, that most of it is it's very simple, but there's space for each noise, each sound. And I picked like a bass. I used two VSTs, one for the bass and one for the counter melody, as it were. And I started with the first note, like, okay, this is shaking my bones. This is the right note to start off with, and then yeah, I moved from there. And basically, the whole album is me doing one of those tracks a day at night, and messing with the knobs and twiddling, and then and that was the recording in the end. So there was no edits or whatever, and I think you
All
can
one takes. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
all
that's
one
cool.
takes.
Yeah, I think that's something that actually comes through in the project because they all sound very much like cute little moments, you know. There's they're not dressed up or anything. It's just it is what it is, and it does a really good job at being just what it being what it is basically. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to not to think about what hi hat. You made a couple of weeks ago a very good point about the 909. All those sounds fit together, so you never they were meant to be together. You know, the hi
It's a
hat
kit.
and
Yeah, it's a
there's
kit.
somebody
Yeah.
who took. Yeah, it's a kit, and I'm most of my music was made on MPC for a year, so it was always sampling stuff like records and whatever. So I never I find it still very hard to make a kit. So this was the first project that was all the music was a kit. It's just like
Right.
I
Yeah.
have
Yeah. Yeah.
these two
Mm.
303s, and I've discussed with myself. I'm gonna use more than just the 808 kick drum, like a hi hat or whatever. And I decided no, because the kick drum would be like the drums for everything. That's it, and there's nothing more. And I like that it's I could do the next day. I just copy the project, make the melodies and the bass lines and whatever, and that would be it. And I would just do small tweaks to the effects maybe, or have a little delay on it, or but not a lot. It's like I think there's maybe 5 things involved. So yeah,
Sometimes that's all you need, man.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And the new stuff is even more minimal, but it's I only use the Sonic Lab fundamental, because it allows me to be very specific with certain frequencies, and then get it on tape, and it's even from the hard and software, it's even less than that first album.
Mm.
So, but it sounds more busy and more complex, I think.
Cool. Can't wait to hear it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Me.
I
yeah.
will check the link actually.
Yeah, I think
There's a
Cassandra just
link?
posted the.
Yeah, there is a link. Yeah.
Is it the right
Ah.
one, Eric? Just check if it's the right one. The Machines of Loving Grace .bandcamp. Is that the one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Great sequence.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
lovely.
Check it out.
Thank
Thank you, Eric. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll check it out.
Yeah, we were just gossiping about you, Stef, while you were away.
Yeah.
You didn't miss anything. Yeah, so let's see what else. Anybody has anything on their wish list, like stuff they wanna get or try out? You know, like ideas for a next project or whatever.
Project?
No, I mean like a piece of like a combination of tools you want to try out, or like a thing you want to explore more, or stuff like that. I'm always interested in hearing about those ideas. You know.
Yeah,
This little thing.
I constantly change the routing. Not constantly, but I change a lot the routing of the studio recently because once in a while I wanna have different sound coming out. So basically, actually, it's I change compressors or EQs, and it goes and see how it goes. And as I was saying, it's always it's a process to understand what would fit better on what I have in mind. But I start to use again some analog filters that I used to work long time ago, and this is
Nice. Which ones?
I have this electrics. It's a green
Oh
one.
yeah.
The Filter Queen, yeah?
Yeah. And it was there for a while without that I was using it. Actually, I quite using almost not every single record, but a lot, because at that time, still, because we didn't used to write the song. Actually, we put in loop. We because I used to work with other Napolitan producer at that time, but that was the way we worked. I was working, so actually I have loop on Logic, and then everything was recorded live through the mixer. And the breaks was I was using just the filter, this analog filter to cut the lows. That's it. That
On the
was
master.
Yeah. While I was recording on the dot, that's it. So really straight on this. And getting back what we were saying, it is another thing that I'm trying to do is like recording everything at the end of the day. There is something that because when I start to be back again on production a few years ago after a long break. I was completely I lost my habits, in the studio, and it took really it was a long process. It was really I was really struggling. So what I did is like I was trying to remember as much as I can what I was as I could what I was doing when I was 20 years old in the studio. And one of the things was like recording everything in one at the end of the day through directly to the dot. Also because I was never like really good in I told you was really bad student. So instruction stuff like that, how to save the sample, these kind of things. I was a disaster. Probably as I'm still am. So the only way was to record everything that night because when you go out to the studio, you switch off the electricity and
Everything's gone.
everything is gone. So
Yeah, man. But
not
I actually like that, man. It's like
I forced
you,
myself.
yeah, you give exactly. You give yourself a day, and you know if you're gonna switch it off, everything's gone. And there's something to that, you know. There's it's
Yeah. What
yeah,
what the step
you cannot
was,
you cannot postpone your decisions forever. It makes you decide, you know, because you know the clock is ticking.
it was a little bit what Steph was saying before, that at that time, in a way, was easier because, like you have to finish the things and the day next day you have to start something new. And I also think when every day is different from the others, it's sounds obvious, but it is.
Maybe.
It is actually thinking. No. What I'm saying that if I wake up in the morning next, probably my mood is different. My what I have in mind the next before was totally different, and so it's better to start to do something new and start to having fun again.
Totally agree.
Fun again on the process. And as much you record, if I, to be honest, right now I'm so happy that I used to do this because I have probably 50 dots full of tracks of that time, and mostly of them are not released. And right now, probably in my computer, if I was till a few years ago, if I watch all my projects, there are like hundreds of projects, and probably 90% of that project is not finished. So no, at that time I was um, everything every single day that I spend in my studio it's recorded. It's there.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You mean that the time where you had to make this conclusion at the end of the day by recording whatever you came up with, kind of delivered more or yielded more results than when everything stayed inside the computer and your decisions or your commitment gets postponed because you can always go back to the day after, and you never do.
Exactly, because you know better than me the La Voglia. You really want to start to do again on some new music. You want to be having fun, make be in the creative part. That's why I really suggest to anyone that is struggling, they're producing, like to recording the things, maybe everything one day and then or one shot, and maybe the day next to just adjusting something. That's it, no more than that, and to let it go.
No, I really relate to that because sometimes we get people in this chat and they can sustain the energy to work on one project with one basic idea for months or even years, like a concept and like a goal in mind, and they can actually somehow retain the motivation to stick to that. And I can't.
No, me too.
I would rather just blast it out and capture the moment, and that's stick with it. That's it.
Absolutely. I mean, if I may add my opinion, I think that like I have one concrete energy when I do the track, and then I have something to say. I'm first of all, I'm analyzing a little bit how I feel, what I want to say, and then if I don't really finish the live arrangement, because I'm just chopping basically the sounds, choosing from like 40 minutes or 30 minutes of drums, different drum sequences, picking like one little bar of drums, picking some chords or anything. Then I'm trying to play it live to make a little arrangement. If I don't do it and I go to eat something or do anything that actually changes my mood or changes my feelings in this moment, I come back and I'm a completely different person. Like I'm heavier or happier or sad, like it's I really feel that a completely different person, and I cannot really write the arrangement. I don't know. I don't feel it anymore. So I just have to pick different parts and start doing it again. And maybe something heavier is coming out, something more low profile or happier or minor or major.
Yeah, but you already have like very like a lot of steps that are basically destructive, edited in destructive ways, during the process, like the way you explained, you doing your chords, like pre-process them like as big chunks. So I mean, with destructive, I mean it's not open. It's not open to edit further. It's already kind of taped, or it's already in a final form, So that it already sort of makes your building blocks kind of final before you commit to the final arrangement.
I may explain a little more, so you basically can understand. I do craft the whole sounds, the basics, yeah. One whole day, like from 12 to 8 p.m. Yeah, so and I don't do anything else. I'm just doing sound craft, like modulation, harmonizing, like doing the material.
Building your kit, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So the next day, I'm just listening to everything, listening the mood, where I have some more aggressive parts, some more treated parts, and kind of pre setting up and doing some templates, to have ready my faders, for the arrangement, for different arrangements. Yeah, for the performance. And the next 3 days, I'm fully. I have everything prepared. I'm coming to the studio. I have a concrete mood, I don't know. I had sex with my girlfriend, I'm like, I have a feeling, like I'm pressing the button and banging a track, like for 5 minutes. If I don't do it in one take, and if I do something wrong, I just press stop, instantly press again the play button, and I'm re-recording it again for another take. If I fail again, and then I start feel that my ears are already, got used to this thing, and my state is already changing, so I'm just leaving it and
Go
coming
back
back
to your
in.
girlfriend.
Yeah, come back to your girlfriend, exactly.
That's a trick.
So yeah, yeah, and then I'm just coming back in 1 hour, or I don't know, and I'm just picking different parts and doing another track, like and I basically spend like 10-20 minutes maximum to craft one track. And the reason is that every time I want to do a better version of my improvisation or live arrangement, and it's really, really, really helpful to understand. The more you do, the more you fail, and the more you do a ready product, like from start to finish,
Yeah,
not to.
it's like a
Yeah,
rehearsal,
yeah,
basically.
I have to finish the track, the take, to be able to understand the mistakes. If I don't really finish the track, which is like maximum 5-6 minutes, I'm not really able to judge myself from the sides and progress. So this is a big part of my personal progress on just finishing the track within these 5 minutes. Like the take. I just have to finish the take, at least one take or two takes, and then calm down, stop dancing, go to another room,
No,
and
especially when we're the kind of music that we're doing that is actually is like um, so compressed. It's loop bass, and as soon as you just slightly move the cue, something different, or make I don't know, like a different setup, or instead of one compressor, go to another, or a different route. It totally changed the vibe of
Yeah.
the track. So it's also because that's why it's impossible for me like let mixing something someone else what I'm doing, like it's really it's all about um, like details, like really, and it's all about that. So, and I think that's why it's so important as well. Don't get back, especially for what we're doing, the for more and more days in the same things on the same music, because then if you're listening what how it started, how it supposed to be, and how it ended, it's okay. I rise what's supposed to be, because there is no supposed to be, because it's not supposed to be anyway. It's the way it comes
yes,
out.
No, but I
So
mean, I think we are all kind of the same in this, because also Eric, like it is the way. I mean, the thing is with electronic music, or the stuff that we do, it is very much you know you're working with tools, right? There's a it's not like in a band situation. There's no audience, so you don't get this sort of energy or feedback or whatever, to get to a sort of level and to sort of enhance the expression, so you're working basically from your brain, very sort of almost I wouldn't say scientific, but you know what I mean, right? And the trick is to find the intuition, and capture that. And so yeah, there's a lot of techniques to get there, which sometimes means you have to prepare your tools in advance and lay things out, and sort of but the
Make drum kits.
actual capture of the expression needs, I think, to be most, as real time as possible. You can edit it afterwards, or you can, sort of modify it, but to get that energy or that expression in a type of music that is really very, very abstract and very
Yes.
subtle,
True.
is very, you need, like Steph said, you need that mood, you need that vibe, and if you don't get it, you don't get it. You start over. But it's very hard to get the same type of energy and expression if you spend days and days and days behind a screen clicking around the mouse. That's just it's just almost impossible. It's really, really hard.
I can basically practically explain it more realistically, like in real life how it's happened mostly. Like I'm really getting inspired from movies and from some kind of dynamic scenes that excites me, or just giving me some kind of feelings. So art basically motivates me or triggers me to. I have this thing called synesthesia. When you see
Cool.
you see a color, or you see a number, or you see a concrete scene that you cannot. It makes you feel something, but you cannot call it somehow. Yeah, I press.
Yeah, I have the same thing, man. I thought everybody. I used to think everybody had it, but I found out.
I've been analyzing actually to understand what actually makes me really what drives me to, or what makes me hungry to go and reproduce or translate from the image to the sound. And I understand that basically mostly I cannot really name this dynamic scene,
exactly.
this color, and
but you can still chase after it, trying to express it in sound. Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
I know exactly what you mean.
So
yeah.
I'm pressing the pause. I'm pressing the pause button, and I just name this demon. I have to name it, like this red color or this dynamic scene that has something inside that makes me inspires me, and I'm instantly going to the studio and trying to find this sound, because every time I'm crafting the sound, I'm also reflecting the aesthetics I already saw my whole life.
You're chasing it. Yeah.
Yes, because everything everything is coming really organically, and I have many frequencies that I cannot really choose, because I know how I trying to understand how my inner core sounds, and it has many dynamics. So I see a dynamic scene or something that I cannot name, and I'm trying to name it by the sound, trying to find the correct chord or the correct bass line or something, that has this type of energy. And then when I success, I'm the happiest person, like it's crazy. And this is one of the reasons why I really love production, because it just makes me happy like nothing else in this life. I don't know, like a few things, there are just a few things that make me really happy, and they're so simple, and I just love it,
You are so lucky that, and
I'm able to understand this.
yeah, exactly. To be aware about this.
Yes,
absolutely, exactly.
Yes, I understand. Yeah, I wish everyone could feel something similar and be happy with his own self. Sometimes I want to tell it loud, to someone that I really wish I want to help him, mentally. And share my happiness, which is such a simple thing,
And then he told that you should be helped mentally.
and I understand that I have to explain all the thing that it's everyone has its own road, every own psychological state and mind and distractions or constructions, you know. So everyone is different. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thanks for those words. I mean, there's a lot of things you said that I recognize for sure.
I know.
No, but also about the chasing after an aesthetic, which is hard. You cannot put it into words. You could not paint it. You could not use any other type of expression. But you can get very close when you're chasing for a certain sound, and that is something I recognize very well. Yeah.
I recognize
That's
from your
probably-
music because I was analyzing your music. I'm sorry, Eric. I'm
No
actually,
worries.
I'm actually. I took the time to analyze technically and aesthetically many reference. I would say, or like producers that I feel close to my to me aesthetically, like you, like Gaetano, like many others, and I've realized that I can hear what you were feeling, and this is also exciting. You know, this is really nice. So yeah, I've kind of learned from you in this case. You know, how
That's
to be
cool.
happy. Yeah.
Well, that's great to hear, but it's a special gift because I don't have any. I don't remember. I never remember how I felt when I made something. So, no, I mean, it. But I think I agree on the part where it's maybe recognizable how. The frequencies are tuned or how things sit together. I think that's where it's most apparent. What you talk about. So the thought process maybe, not the feeling. That might be recognizable. I don't know. That's just the way I look at other things. How can you tell what somebody was feeling? I don't know. Maybe what they were thinking.
Or it's maybe
I don't
your
know. I
interpretation
can at
of.
least.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
That's true, Eric. It's
probably-
in the end, it's definitely. I mean, you make music, you let it out in the world, and then it's basically other people that are attaching memories and thoughts and feeling and emotions to what you've done, and they're not necessarily the same as
No.
when the artists make it. And they're almost always different than when the artist made it. So
The first time I heard Detroit techno, like 1989, I always thought like Derek May was very angry. Because that's, it was very emotive music, and it had an energy that I didn't know, basically, because before that it was soul to soul, and that's 30 BPM slower, so it was like
yeah. There's definitely always that all the Detroit stuff from the time has a very like a sort of urgency to it, like
Yeah.
a chaste vibe. Yeah.
I thought Derek May was angry. I didn't, it's like,
well, when I say like I can just feel or understand the very basic things of from feelings from a track, from an audio craft, from the music, like it's on a very basic level, like as I understand Tarantella, for example, Gaetano, Tarantella. It's just I hear it and I say yes, this is happy, nostalgic, and it makes me happy. It's not a sad song, on that level. Like
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah. So on that level, nothing really deeper, So yeah.
Awesome. This turned out to be very philosophical and deep in the end. Listen, guys, we already went way over 2 hours, so why not start the bit where we can give everybody a little opportunity to announce
Yes.
or talk about whatever they've got coming out, any projects, any releases, streams, whatever. Maybe even gigs. I don't know. Let's just go again from top to bottom. So Eric, what you got anything coming up that you want people to know about?
Well, my album's out, and I'm working on the second one, but that's still in the works. I have gigs.
Yay.
I do the which is quite unique in the Netherlands now. Now I do every Sunday at Kalamaan, which is the camping of the Wildeburg Festival. I do these ambient concerts lying down. And we have a special system that allows for, I think, it goes to 4 hertz.
What?
So you're, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So you like that, yeah, and because a lot of new stuff I do is based on alpha waves, the brain waves, and they resonate or they oscillate between 4 and 12 hertz. So we needed something to do that, and it's great fun, and it's quite relaxing. I hear.
Wow.
Massaging the body, basically.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yes.
the idea was because if the BPM is 130, your heart and the music is loud enough, your heart will start to beat at 130.
I can imagine that's
So we took that principle, but changed it around into like getting you really, really relaxed.
Eric slowing everything down at
Everything.
Everything.
your recent project. Everything.
Yes. It used to be my idea in the 90s was like, yeah, we take that sample, put a really big beat in it, and now it's
Yeah.
like, we take that and we slow it down, like way down.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you have to know how to cook ragu. Ragu is Italian Napoletan sauce that it takes 24 hours to cook.
Yeah.
Like really, really slow. That would
Okay.
be your perfect things. I send you
The Sunday, the Sunday
the
dish.
Yeah,
the Sunday dish. No, actually, it's a
I'm-
weekend dish.
I'm working on beats per hour instead of beats per minute. That's the idea.
Okay.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, I can't wait to hear the new stuff, man. And I would encourage people to listen to the album that Sander just posted. Cool. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
And Gaetano, anything you want to share? I mean, first of all, I didn't even say thank you first on the chat. I did email you, but you sent me the entire catalog,
Yes.
the conform catalog,
Yes.
the newly mastered.
Yeah.
Amazing,
That's
amazing
wow.
body. That's an amazing body of work, man. And it sounds really great with the great masters as well. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
is it fully released or re-released now?
It's fully released right now. It's on Bandcamp. You can find only there the entire catalog. It will be on the other digital store, just part of the catalog. I want to keep everything, on the only on Bandcamp. Everything there. And finally, after this retouch series with all the remixes, the first number, and then the release again of the back catalog digitally. Finally, after 15 years, I'm gonna do a records on my label, and it's gonna be I got my own slow time. Then you go slow, and you say
Yeah.
I'm slower than you. I'm slower than you.
Yeah, once every 50 years.
15
That's the
years.
dream. That's the dream.
15 years, yeah. So it's gonna be a double. It's ready. I just sent it to master it. It's not an album. It will name 2930. Actually just my last Comfort Records was 20. The last Comfort Records was 28 as catalog number, and I named it this because it has to be clear that this is not an album. It's double EP. So it will be out in October.
Cool.
Can't wait. Yeah, actually, I start again the label, everything just to be able to produce my own music, and finally the wait is over.
Nice. Yeah, it's cool, man. These days with Bandcamp, you could just throw anything on it. You know, it's a
It's
really
gonna be on vinyl. It's gonna be on vinyl, but I prefer to keep Bandcamp as my main platform to sell.
awesome. I saw Sander already posted the link to the page, so
Thank you,
cool.
Sander.
Go check it out, people.
We're friends.
Steph, anything you want to share?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say respect, Gaetano.
Grazie,
Just respect,
Steph.
man. Yeah,
Grazie.
yeah.
Grazie.
Just
You know,
just
it's
honestly,
likewise.
respect, man. Respect.
Thank you.
So I just have a 4-tracker EP on Clockworks coming probably September. I've already sent you guys. If you like Eric, I can send you.
I would
also.
love that.
Yeah. So
You can pitch.
I'm not only ambient, you know.
yeah. I feel it.
Well, you can always play it at half speed or quarter speed.
Yeah. 16.
32. So.
Yeah, but be careful. Be careful with the strikes. Yeah. So yeah. And basically that's it. I have some plans, but yeah, I prefer to craft the material, all the material, and then I can just share it with everyone.
Yeah,
I
sure.
just have an upcoming EP and like a limitless willing to be back with the people on the dance floor. I really wish everything will be fine soon, so we can all have fun with the people, reunite, and share the happiness. That's the only reason.
Amen.
Absolutely. Yeah, amen to that, for sure.
Yeah. And
Well-
people stay strong and happy. Try to find. If you are not happy, focus on trying find your little happiness. That's it. Like I do. It's easy. Yeah. It's eat good pasta. I don't know.
Having fun.
Listen to Tarantella and eat good pasta.
Eat ragu.
It's a little more complicated, man. So yeah.
Awesome wisdom and advice from the man. Thanks, Steph.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for
thanks everybody for
me.
hanging out.
It's a big pleasure. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Jürgen,
it was lots of fun.
I want to thank you personally again once more. Every time it's fun, and every time I watch any single episode is interesting because, as you said, it's like it's amazing to. It's like having chat with friends, as you said, that having shared the same passion, and this is quite difficult right now, as you can say, because we are not traveling and going around. And what you said is you're living this like kind of substitute the pub vibes, go on. And this is the spirit, and I can really feel it, and it's something that it is good for everyone. So thank you a lot.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I feel blessed to be talking to so many like-minded people and great minds every week. It's a lot of fun. So thanks a lot for you guys for joining. It was fun.
I always forget to. I would never not always make it to the end of the show because it's like I'm inspired, and it's like. Yeah, I'll listen to it later. But you have to stay now. But I'm gonna make music. So I think that's the biggest compliment I could give. Like you inspire. It's an inspiring show. So that's wonderful.
Awesome. Yeah, it's not really a show though.
Likewise.
It's just a hangout.
Yeah,
we just ramble away. Yeah, but it's cool.
Inspired
Exchange.
rambling.
It's cool to exchange ideas and thoughts with each other and the audience, which is great too. Yeah. So anyway, thanks to you guys, and thanks for people who are hanging out with us, if there's still anyone on Twitch. And two things I want to promote or spread the word about. One is the Discord server that we are running It's like a real-time forum with all producers and musicians exchanging ideas, like we are doing here. But it's on all the time. And the other thing is our Patreon page. If you like to support the project, or if you like what we do with these chats, then you can say hi there, whatever, and get some benefits by subscribing, and you get sound packs, or you can get masterclasses and stuff like that. So if you want to get your stuff to the next level, just to hit us up, and maybe it's something for you. So yeah, all I can say now is basically thanks again, guys, for hanging out.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. So good evening and ciao ciao.
You will see in one of your masterclass soon on Patriots for sure.
What's that?
I will see you on the masterclass on Patriot.
What?
I'm going to describe me on.
Oh wow! Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to pick your brain instead of the other way around then. No, okay, man. Well, thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the after chat. See you later. Ciao.
Yeah. Ciao. Bye.